to discuss topics that affect us, whether personal or political, local or international. It is a platform for us to build from, so the community can grow to be strong. To the host, Raymond Dugue, Michael Duncan, two of our honorary humanitarian. It's real and it not bogus. Stand against those who stand against us. When situation rough and get tedious, get tedious, get tedious. Community focus, community focus, community yo. We have to adjust. Community focus, community focus. Ask the Almighty, Him will guide us. Community focus, community focus. Live up.
Marcus Garvey words come to pass. Marcus Garvey words come to pass. Can't get no food to eat. Can't get no money to spend. Oh, can't get no food to eat. Can't get no money to spend. Oh. Come, little one, oh, let me do what I can for you. And you, hello. Come, little one, come. Oh, let me do what I can for you, but you alone. Oh.
Welcome to the Community Focus as part of the UNIA Rock Media. Brothers and sisters, the host of this show is the Honorable Michael R. Duncan, and he's in Africa where he belongs. And I'm anxiously awaiting his report because yesterday when he arrived in Liberia, he hadn't had a chance to go visit Liberty Farm. And just like all of you, I'm anxiously awaiting on the report on Liberty Farm and what we can expect. Welcome to the Community Focus radio show. Today is Tuesday, November 7th. In New York, there are elections. Every city council member. I don't have to tell you that our dear sister, the very youthful, Brooks Powers is up for re-election. I know some of our members were out there supporting her, so we are anxiously awaiting those results. Okay, today is Tuesday, November 7th, 2023. Let me share with you what's going on in the calendar. November 7th, 1791, our dear leader, Bookman Dutties, is assassinated. He is killed, 1791. 1791, Africans in what was then called Saint-Domingue, which eventually became Haiti, got together, had a Congress, and decided in 8 days they would unleash terror to the slave masters. When there is a slave revolt, people get killed. In terms of being enslaved, there are no innocents. There are no civilians. The fact that slavery can exist, that means they are targets and they should be, They should be exacted upon our revenge. Anyway, August 14th, 1791, Africans get together. Bookman Dutties does his prayer that he gets from Cecile Fatima, which basically says that, oh, the God that makes the earth, the God that makes that holds up the ocean, the God that allows the thunder to roar. Said, that God, you who is good, we know you are looking down on us. You see all that these enslavers, these evildoers, these genociders, these colonizers, these imperialists have done. Well, we know what is right. Our God, who is so good, who lives in us, commends us to vengeance. She will direct us. She will bring us the victory. That starts the ending phase of the revolution. So what happens? Everything is going good, Africans. Everything. It was a 5-point plan. Immediate self organize people, burn the crops, go to the mountains, organize, plan, protect and defend the children and women. Everything was going great. But our history, brothers and sisters, there's always a sellout, always a Sambo, always. And so today, November 7th, 1791, Bookman Duddies is assassinated and killed. And the face of the revolution changes. It's no longer conquer or die. It's let's negotiate, let's talk. That never works, brothers and sisters. And so that was November 7th, 1791. November 8th, 1903, Panama breaks away from Colombia. Most people are not aware of this. Until then, it was one country. And the France had started to build the Panama Canal. It didn't work out. The terrain of Panama is much different than the terrain of Egypt, of the Suez Canal. The same people that built the Suez Canal, same in the steps, wants to build the canal in Panama. That's gonna revolutionize trade. If you're coming from the Pacific to the Atlantic, you would have to go all around South America. With the building of this canal, you cut right through. And if you've ever crossed the canal, it is the coolest thing. We did that during the summer in Seattle. I know the President General has himself been in Panama. He went through the canal, and I know he's told me how impressive it was. Well, we did the same thing in Seattle when we went to visit our son August, and that was really cool. But anyway, that's what happens in 1903. Once the French determined that they can't continue with the building of this so-called canal, they give up. U.S. buys all the equipment. Colombia, which was running that land, does not want to deal with U.S. So what do empires do? What do genociders do? They arm the portion of Panama to become independent. And the first country to recognize Panama is the U.S. for obvious reasons. They were the ones who set it up so they could build the canal. The U.S. is going to go from big time to uber big time. I mean, this is the beginning of the changing of the guard. Until then, Europe was still the big time. In fact, you can even argue both world wars, European world wars, was an attempt by old Europe to still run the planet. They could see the writing on the wall. The US is going to become an empire. And it all starts with economics, trade and commerce. Because of the building of the Panama Canal, the US is going to hit the big time. And then the other reason why the US is hitting the big time is its landmass. You have to understand, all these Europeans had colonies not on their landmass. The US started as a colony and they took advantage of the landmass. But the second reason why US is going to be dominating, they take full advantage of us, Black people. I mean, how many inventions did Black people invent? And, when we invent these things, we're talking about the real McCoy, Elijah McCoy, all of these, Morgan, all of these great inventors, and they're great. They should be lauded. All respect is due to our African kings and queens. But let's look at the context. These inventions are done for empire. The empire is going to benefit. Think about Dr. Charles Drew and blood plasma. it's amazing. He dies in a car accident. They refused to give him a transfusion. All he had to do is apply what he had invented. Anyway, so, our African inventors should be lauded, much respect. But we should never forget on the context. These inventions are done for empire to become bigger empire. Anyway, so, and getting back to it, that's November 8th. November 9th, 1731, you've got Benjamin Banneker. Benjamin Banneker is one of the true geniuses. Again, our genius is being used to extend the greatness or the power of empire, not our empire, their empire. So that's November 9th. That's in 1731. November 10th, talking about inventors, Granville T. Woods patents the electric railway. The third railway, the one with all the energy going through, that's Granville T. Woods. Again, we've done greatness, but for them. And this is why Mr. Garvey is so important. He says it's time for the Black man to stop his hero worshiping and adulation of others. It's time to create your own martyrs, to uplift your own saints. This is why Mr. Garvey is the greatest among men and gods. You just think about it. We would just trudge along. Garvey comes along and says, up, you mighty race. You can accomplish what you will. And so last night we spoke about Kenya. Tonight we're going to speak about Ethiopia. Brothers and sisters, I know the trip to Ethiopia was off the charts. Everyone, much to learn, so much to confirm. There were so many highlights. I'm just gonna go over what I can remember to make it fluid. We always go to museums. Last year at the convention in Detroit, we went to the Charles H. Wright African American Museum. Brothers and sisters, we ended up having I wouldn't say a throwdown, quote unquote, but a real meeting of the brain, where the curator, the person showing us around, we ended up having arguments with her. And it's not that we look to have arguments. And if you follow what the President General said last night, we're at a stage where we know as much about our people as these curators and these presenters at the museum. There was one scene in Detroit last year. We're talking about slavery, and the museum person, a sister, nice sister, is telling us, well, we entered into an agreement. It was a trade and bartering, and everyone is like, they had a gun to our heads. What trade and what bartering? I mean, you've got, and even the exhibit they had, it really didn't do justice and service. They really had it appeared as if they were negotiating. What's they negotiate? They came in to brutalize, commit genocide against us, rape and pillage, violate us, kidnap us. There's nothing decent that can be exhibited from that. So we ended up having major league disagreements. That was in Detroit at the convention. Anyway, so this year we get to Kenya. Let me say this: the museum the museum representative, she was absolutely fantastic. Very young person too, very young. I mean, reminds me of my own daughter, but she can only do what she's been trained. And so a lot of I remember Sister Desmond standing up to her. And it's not like we look to do that, but we cannot allow a defamation. We cannot allow attacking of our people, our culture, our race. That's not going to happen. And, trying to say we participated in slavery. And, basically we ask the same questions. Okay, let's say we did participate. Where are the ships that we built to go kidnap our people? Where the armies, where to demonize and destroy those villages? Where the insurance companies that we built to insure these true voyages? Where are the palaces that we built as a result of stealing all the gold from Africa? The answer is they don't exist because we didn't do it. And we're going to stay, the President General has made that his mantra. We're going to stay with that. But it's the truth. Brothers and sisters, you can never accept that we Africans participated in our genocide. I mean, that would really be stupid. I mean, think about it. We're going to engage in killing our people. Nobody's going to do that. And so while we were at the Kenya National Museum, they talk about it's like, well, it's colonialism. No, it's genocide. Colonialism necessarily to kill, pillage, and you also have to violate. These are war crimes. That's all that it is. And so, and it's not that we wanted to make her life miserable, but some things are not going. Even if you want to be polite, dignified, but we can't accept that, brothers and sisters. Never, 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 never. Okay, so now let's get to Ethiopia. Okay, in the National Museum, the brother we had, by the way, he's on YouTube, and the next show I'll share his information. He took it home. I mean, none of us had anything to say. Everything was just reconfirming. Even, just to give you an idea, he talked about the evolution of man. Oh, by the way, we had gone to another museum in Ethiopia. It's called, it's a brand new museum, Africa Unbound. Brothers and sisters, by the way, whenever I go somewhere, I'm taking notes. I took notes in Kenya and in this Africa Unbound Museum because we're building a museum at the what do you call that? The City of Hope, the Claw Hope Foundation. So President, the First Lady of Liberia, to allow us to do it. So I'm building it. I've got a vision. But in the meantime, in our studios, the Hillside Studios, we're doing construction. Everything has been painted white. All of the walls are white, ceilings, everything, because in the walls, we're going to start our museum. And part of it is the evolution of humanity. One more thing. I'm from the school of Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop. That's my guy. That's our guy. That's who we're going with. Dr. Diop has proven beyond reasonable doubt, definitively, that there are 6 species of what we call humankind. The first 2 are Australopithecines. Australia means south. Pithecus means ape, southern ape. So there are 2. The first 2 are Australopithecines, and then we get into Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo sapien, Homo sapien sapien. Those are the last 4. Dr. Diop proved it, and that's our guide. All 6 species are found in Africa, the only continent. The only continent. Western Asia and parts of Europe have 3 species, the 3 that left Africa. Australia, and I always wanted to know, what's the name for Australia? Australia just means southern land. Australia is Latin for southern. Alia is land. So Australia means southern land, down under. Anyway, Australia has 1 species. North America has 1 species. So meaning if one landmass has all 6 species, that means that's where humanity began. So part of our museum that we're going to create in the Hillside Studios is to show the evolution, how we got from how the earth began, how many millions of years did these species of humankind, we're talking African here, no other distinction. Anyway, Africa Unbound Museum. Oh, hold it. President General, are you on?
Yes, greetings, brother. How are you?
Oh, I didn't even see you.
Yeah.
Been standing there, sitting there, waiting for me. President General.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you clear, brother. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. But my question to you is, how long have you been standing there waiting for me?
Not long.
Oh, okay, good. I hadn't seen you. Okay, President General, everybody wants to know what's going on Liberty Farm. Please share with us what happened today.
Yeah, well, it was just a beautiful thing actually, being on Liberty Farm today and seeing from the bananas, how the bananas slash plantings are growing. They're really developing well. The amount of cassava that's actually planted, a whole lot of cassava is planted, and exorbitant amount of cassava is there. It's still the pineapples are there and developing, and then the vegetables, the other vegetables, be it the tomatoes, be it the peppers, be it the cabbage, it's just really coming along. Things things are progressing well on
Wow.
Liberty Farm, and we have some good people working who are really making a difference. So it's just great. Everyone has to take time off and say his next trip and really come and visit Africa. Really come and visit Liberty Farm because it's really happening there.
Okay. No. Let's go back to the cassava because we've got big plans for the cassava. Rated. And tell us, go ahead, where are they situated?
You mean it's on the farm?
Yes.
Wow. When you
I know the farm. I've worked on the farm. I know the farm. So go right ahead.
close to the gate, the fence to the right,
Okay.
from where you have the animals, go all back
Okay.
to the fence, and then go back to the next side, the new piece of land that's there.
Right.
All that area there is filled with cassava.
Okay. And please inform our listeners, cassava is grown underground, correct?
Yes, it's basically a root, just like yam, just like potatoes. It's grown on the ground.
And then but also after you cut it, after you cut it and use it, you can regrow it. Yes or no?
Yeah. So it's after you reap that cassava and you have that stick. Usually, that stick is usually at least 6 feet long. And then you can cut it in say 8 or 9 inches pieces and plant each piece. So once you cut one piece, then but you can split it up in between 6 and 8 pieces and plant them again.
Wow. I all of this, and to our listeners, the reason why I can speak so authoritatively is working on Liberty Farm. All of this I learned because I never knew that about potatoes, about yams, about cassava. They actually grow underground, and it's brothers and sisters, it's the wildest thing. After you harvest it, you can regrow it. I mean, food is so valuable. I don't think that was the one thing I got out of living and working on control our destiny. You don't need books, science, technology to tell you that agriculture is the only way you can eradicate yourself. I mean, you can eat it. And President General, there were so many times when we were working on the farm, instead of harvesting, I said, let me eat it myself. So that's the beauty where you can utilize your products. But anyway, President John, okay, talk to me about the pineapples.
Yeah, the pineapples they're really increasing. They're growing. We have reaped some before, and once the pineapple bears, then it sends out a sucker. Sometime one, two, or three suckers that you can then plant again.
That's right.
So it can just keep going, just like the banana and the plantain has as they get ready to start growing. They're pushing out 2, 3 suckers. The same thing with the pineapple. So it's a good thing. So from there, your pineapple farm will always continue because as you reap, you will always have suckers that you have to transplant. So the farming thing, the agricultural thing is the continuous thing that you have to invest serious time in it and make it work. And again, as you said, that's the only way for us to feed our people, that the only way for us to experience self-reliance. So again, I can explain this and explain that, but brothers and sisters, I charge each and every one of you to make the trip yourself, see for yourself, see what it's like, and make it happen.
There you have it. So again, we're traveling to Ghana. We're leaving Friday, February 16th. And we'll be back from Ghana, Liberia on Friday, March 1st. Brothers and sisters, you don't want to miss this. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm so excited having just visited Kenya and Ghana and Liberia. I mean, and you know what? I've done this every year. I've been to Ghana and Liberia. And guess what? I look forward to it every year coming because, you get a chance to go back home. There's not, no matter how many times you visit the slave concentration camp dungeon, it never, you say to yourself, how can this happen? But we know how it can happen. The strong oppresses the weak. And then when you go to Liberia, I mean, that's the future. Okay, President General, you mentioned, I know we're going to get to Ethiopia, but, I was thinking about you and Liberty Farm all day. You mentioned the vegetables. What's going on with the what do you call that? The peppers, the tomatoes, the cabbage. Let us know, please.
We have the regular peppers there, but we took some Scotch bonnet seeds there and we're planting them, but then they're growing well. The peppers are coming out real good. People buy an unlimited amount of peppers. You have to realize that most of the time peppers are brought into Liberia from Guinea. But the cabbage, there was a challenge with the cabbage growing there, but I think we have hit the right formula that works, and the cabbage are growing. People need everything there, all these vegetables they need. So we're going to grow whatever is needed so people don't have to go outside of Liberia to get these things. And we are hoping that we can motivate people to grow, to farm. Recently, we had 4 interns that came to the farm for 1 month. For them to graduate from school, they had to come on the farm for a month to actually learn and go through the processes. And it was exciting to see them. What we're hoping that at some point, some of them will come back and work for Liberty Farm. But this is how you do things, where you offer training as well, where you can educate people and more people have the option of agriculture.
Okay. I always forget to ask, how's Sister Rosemary? How's she doing?
She's good. She's there. She's holding the fort. She's making it happen. So we have to work with her to keep that going.
Okay, good. Okay, you mentioned that the cassava is by the gate. That's on. I know where the gate is. That's where you built the Marcus Garvey Drive, correct?
Yes.
Okay, President General, what was in your mind? I mean, you could have named it anything. Mr. Garvey's never been to Africa. Why do you feel the necessity to, number one, you had to call it Liberty. We know what you're going to tell us why you chose the name Liberty. But number two is you build a road that costs $1 million and then you name it Marcus Garvey Drive. What was behind that? Please share with us.
Well, then but basically comes down to not what we believe, but what we know and promote. And we promote Garvey and Garveyism. And people have to realize, just like we come on the show here every night and we talk about Marcus Garvey. There's a purpose for that. There's a reason. The objective is we know that if our children, if our people learn about this Marcus Garvey, the youth will be less likely to disrespect themselves. They'll be less likely to want to turn the guns on each other. We as the people, we're more likely to want to work together to build communities, make societies and institutions that work for us. So we stress Garvey. We know that Garvey is the answer. So everything we do, it's a representation of the Honorable Marcus Garvey to promote his will and his ways that have worked for us already. Know that those same things can work again only if our people know about them.
There you have it. Okay. So before I continue, I have to give a shout out to our dear sister who I just met today over the phone, our dear sister, Brenda Walton. President General, I have to share this story with you and to our listeners. I was up and down getting supplies to finish off the studios. Brother Mitch and his assistant working hard. And I get a call. I think I was at the bank at that time, so I couldn't answer it. So I called back, didn't get the person. She finally called me back. She calls, she introduces herself. Her name is our dear sister, Brenda Walton. Her maiden name is Harris. Her father's name, who died in 1996, is Gershom Harris. He's an old-time UNIA member. He died at 96. No, he died at 95 years old in 1996, and he was with Mr. Garvey. He's got a letter Mr. Garvey wrote to him. So when the father died, the father had said upon his death to open his strongbox. She did. It was all UNIA material. So she gave all of that to the Schomburg. And then over the weekend or recently, she opened another, I think, cabinet, and there's more UNIA stuff. So she contacted the Schomburg Center for Black Research and Culture, and she just happened to ask, is the UNIA still alive? Is there anything going on? President General, you had a function at the Schomburg in 2016. So Schomburg informs them, yes, they're very much alive. They've had functions here. They have, so they gave my number. She calls me and we ended up talking a long time, but it was great, President General, talking about UNIA and the papers. So she said, what should I do with the papers? Because as she was speaking to me, she realizes I'm very passionate about it and she wants to know, can she give it to me? So I said, honestly, we don't have the museum space, even though I'm building a museum. If you wanted to safeguard it, you can give it to the Schomburg, but can I see it before then? So I told her I'm going to Africa at the end of this week when I'll be back. Want me to go see the papers. She has a letter that Mr. Garvey wrote to her dad on April 13, 1950, a division in Harlem. All of that. And she was so President General, and she said, it's a divine, just run into papers that she didn't even know she had anymore. And she would call Schomburg, they would give her my number, she would end up speaking with me, and we were going on and on. And I can't wait till I get back from Africa to be able to sit down with her to go through the papers. And so I told her, speaking of museums, we're building a museum. And as what we did in Kenya and Ethiopia, going to museums. So President General, number one, the father was a big time UNIA member, this, and that. What are your thoughts on this? And isn't it just fortuitous how all out of the woodworks, so many people were UNIA? Look what's happened in New York and the rest of the planet. Go right ahead, sir.
Well, the only people who weren't UNIA at that point were anti-UNIA sellouts. So, but I'm not surprised. However, I'm happy that that brother saw the UNIA and Mr. Garvey letters as being so important that he would have held on to them and also kept them for so long and then ensured that his daughter would do right by those letters. These members, these older members, they have some kind of Garvey committed spirit that I don't know, but they're really into the UNIA, Garvey and Garveyism, and they support Mr. Garvey and the UNIA wholeheartedly. So I'm thankful. I myself want to see those letters as well. So I can't wait.
You know, as she was speaking to me, and I'm thinking, we're probably going to need more floats for Mr. Garvey's parade in 2024. Because these are the people I want to honor. You know, they held the fort down 1901. Can you imagine that? So meaning he would have been of age like in the 20s. You know, and
Yes.
1926 was the height of UNIA power. I mean, it was bigger than big. And I said to her, can you imagine? Mr. Garvey was about to be deported in 1927, but 1926, UNI is at its height. Anyway, getting back to it, these are the reasons for August 17, 2024. That, you know, who, I mean, she said, I was raised always listening to my father's stories. So we have that obligation. But anyway, moving back to Liberia, sir. So I'm thinking of that area. Now, what about the banks of the Farmington River? I think there were a lot of pineapples there. Is that still the case, or did you do something in addition to that?
No, the pineapples are still there. They're up once you come up from the river, the bank there. The main things are some pineapple but in front of it, you probably have one or two coconut trees, some beans, some gungo peas, plants, and so on. But the pineapples,
Well, hold it. You
yeah,
have coconut trees there now? I don't.
yeah, we have some coconut trees planted, not a lot, but we have a few there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go back. I interrupted you. Continue.
Yeah, and we have some beans and so on. As it's on the edges, but then the pineapples are still in that location. We have just expanded it, going, but going towards the middle of the farm and to the right. So that whole is this area, including the new land at the front, that's going to be for pineapple. Because as I told you, as we expand, as we reap pineapple, we have more suckers to transplant. So the front is for that.
Okay. The nurseries, how is that coming along? Because I know you've invested a lot of coverings, a lot of protection, a lot of protection. Go ahead, share that with me, please.
Yeah, but as a matter of fact, we are the shade houses, and to be honest, we have a container that's supposed to get to the farm tomorrow with about 12 more shade houses in it and other equipment to do work on Liberty Farm. So we're just looking forward to that.
Okay. Talk to me about the chicken coop. How many chickens do we have, and what's the status? Go right ahead.
Well, but as I told you that we basically did a test with just 72 chickens to see how it works, how they'll grow, and to have an idea to figure out the cost, but to grow these chicken. And now they're laying eggs. So we have the 72 chickens and they're laying eggs. So what we're getting ready to do by the middle of next month is to bring in another 2,000 more chicken. And then since we're liking it, we're just going to get in the chicken business. But they're producing eggs again for the longest time. The place was basically just bringing in eggs from other countries. You have a few people who start doing the chicken business, but of course it's not our people. So we're getting into it, and also to motivate our people to let them know that they can do these business as well because the products are needed.
Okay.
Yes.
Sugarcane. How am I sugarcane? Because I know I have a special patch and it has to stay, for Duge. Okay, go right ahead.
Yeah, yeah. We have a small amount of sugar cane there, but we're looking into investing and planting a whole lot. By the 15th of this month, we're going to put a hold on sugar. I mean, on the cassava, we're going to hold because it's getting into the dry season now. So we're going to put a hold on cassava at the 15th, and when that happens, we're going to turn to doing some sugar cane.
Okay, is our factory equipped to also convert sugarcane into sugar and to molasses? Please answer. And
No,
while you're there, expand on the factory. Go ahead.
yeah, no, it's not equipped for that. But once you start growing those things, definitely you have to find a way to get derivative products from the main product. So there definitely need to be ways of doing other product because, as we said, we don't want to send out any of our raw material anywhere to be processed. We're going to process them. It's either we sell them directly to the people, the market people, the businesses, or we're going to process them.
Okay. Speaking of market and market people, how are the market women? Because I totally enjoyed going to market. I thought that was the highlight. We were busy negotiating prices, but I was more interested in watching the camaraderie, watching the environment. President General, when I was there, when I went to market, I was just so into it. I said, my God, this is how you build a nation. Everybody's got a role in it. And you had to see the market women. It was absolutely fantastic. Go right ahead, sir.
Yes, 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 and but then that's where everything comes down to, where we have to supply these people because these people have to wait for products to come from Ivory Coast, to come from Guinea, and we're producing some of these products. When we grow the corn, we allow them to come on the farm and reap their own corn. Some the cassava, some of them come and they're able to reap their own cassava and take it to market. So again, this is what it's all about. This is where, sister, where it comes, where we're making a difference and we're showing people that we can make that difference.
President General, you're going to have to restate that because I don't think our listeners appreciate what you just said. Listen to what the President General said. He is allowing the market women, the market people to grow their own food on the farm because it's not about profit. It's not about capital. It's about self-reliance, how we all uplift. Go ahead, President General, I need you to restate that because I don't think our listeners got that because I know what you're doing, but that's incredible. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. The people, they have a sense of entitlement when they're able to come on a farm and pick their own goods and take them to market. Most of them haven't seen anything like that. So just creating that environment, people know that they can look forward to this. But eventually, we'll have people placing orders even before the products are placed in the ground. So we will know that these things are sold even before they're planted.
Wow. Okay, President General, your last statement on Liberty Farm before we get right into Ethiopia. Go ahead, sir.
Just building, making sure it happens. We want to see Liberty Farm all over, all over. So, brothers and sisters, if you're in a region, if you're in an area, create a Liberty Farm. Brothers and sisters, if you're in New York City and during the summer months, spring to summer, plant some vegetables, and if they're excess, sell some of them to the rock. We have to feed our people. We have to feed ourselves. So Liberty Farm is the way.
Okay. Okay. I know I promised Ethiopia, but before we get to Ethiopia, how is the president and how is the first lady?
Campaigning. That's the only thing that's going on right now.
Okay, there you have it. Have you involved in campaigning yet?
Well, then, today is my first full day here, and you know what had to happen today.
Liberty Farm. Liberty Farm.
Of
That's
course.
that's the only thing. Okay, good. Okay, President General, I mean, we can spend easily another 10 hours discussing Ethiopia. Easily. But before I let you start the discussion, I have to inform our people. You know, Africa and Africans, we are the masters of the universe. We're the first people on the planet, the first concept of a deity, the first understanding of righteousness, how we developed ma'at, the balance, the order, the truth, the harmony, the morality, righteousness, and justice. But let me say this. At the National Museum of Ethiopia, there were things that the brothers said that even brothers and sisters, I said, wow, is there nothing that we have not done? For example, of David, the brother explained to us it's two pyramids, one upright, the other one upside down. That's what was that's what was used, and we developed it. Then he talked about what, I don't want to use the German name, but it's called the Gammadian. It's Gamma. You know, there's no other way to say it. You know, there's some people called Greeks. They have their alphabet. One of their letters is called Gamma. And there's the what we call it, lowercase and the uppercase. The uppercase Gamma, it's just basically vertical. It's a vertical, forms a 90-degree horizontal. If you put four of them in a clockwise way, you form what the Germans call the swastika. This has been a long time African symbol. It's not only in Ethiopia, but it's also in West Africa. Everything is copied from us. The Iron Eagle, you name it. I mean, the brother in the National Museum of Ethiopia just kept blowing us away, and he was righteous. So I'm going to leave it right there. President General, go ahead. Talk to me about Ethiopia.
Brothers and sisters, we have to visit Ethiopia. We have to see for ourselves. This is where everything started. Humankind, life, everything. But unfortunately, because of our success, we had a lot of invaders. And with invaders, they brought a lot of things with them. They brought their religion, they brought their way of life. The Christians brought Christianity into Ethiopia. The Muslims brought their religion in Ethiopia. It wasn't original, but the funny thing is that after they came and they saw our spirituality, how we were worshiping our gods, then they identify our spirituality as paganism. And we believe it. We transcribe those train of thought and we condemn ours. So, brothers and sisters, we don't have to wonder. We know that spirituality started there. Since life started there, everything else must have started there. And the lies that we are told is that we make it clear that if a lie is told and it's told long enough over a period of time, even the liars start believing it. And if we don't be mindful and learn, if we don't be careful and unearth, we will continue to transcribe to these lies and propagate those lies to generation. So we here from the UNIA, our roles are to combat those lies and teach our brothers and sisters the truth. Some people were able to see the 42 admonitions of Ma'at and have to realize that the Ten Commandments. That's where it came from. Some people are going to have to look at the Ankh and realize that the Ankh was around 5,600 years ago, way before the cross. So we have to realize that the cross they developed from the Ankh. Some people have to know that everything that they told us, their so-called Bible, the original scriptures came from Africa. And of course, those who wanted to add some, and to take it from there, my dear brother.
President General, I mean, where do you begin? Everything. I mean, we were in Addis Ababa. We even drove to Shashamani. We were with Rastafari. I mean, the school that they're building, President General just, for those of you that follow football, he threw a touchdown. For those of you that follow baseball, he hit a grand slam. Everything went well. But we even flew from Addis Ababa into Shire. The reason why we flew into Shire, brothers and sisters, is because we were supposed to fly into Aksum. The airport at Aksum does not exist. It's been destroyed during their so-called civil war. I mean, just us killing each other. So we flew into Shire. We drove into Aksum. We spent the night. The hotel was excellent. And then we drove to Ottawa. I mean, brothers and sisters, I don't know about you, but I was holding my head high, putting my chest out. I mean, for us to defeat Europeans, defeat our oppressors, we have to respect our people for doing that. While we were in Ottawa, Sister Jennifer picked up a rock. And so we started rock collecting it. And President General, I've done this before. I have rocks from Senegal, from Ghana, and Liberia. And I even have rocks from Egypt in my home. So once Sister Jennifer did that, we all did that. And in fact, I gave a piece of my rock to Brother Mitch, I think today, or was it yesterday? But these are things that you have to collect. But President General mentioned pagan. One of our tour guides, and we had fun teasing him, where, he mentioned Christianity came in the 3rd to 4th century. And so PG asked him, okay, so before Christianity, what were we praying? How did we worship? How did we engage? And he said, well, before then it was pagan. So, we weren't going to let him go with that. So I said, what do you mean by pagan? He said, well, they were animists, worshiping the sun, worshiping the moon. And so we wouldn't let that go. So I said, well, isn't the sun important? Yeah, even he admitted the sun is the most important thing. It gives us life. It gives us light. It gives us radiant energy. So I said, but if it's important, you don't think you should respect it? He said, yeah, but it's pagan. So then we asked him, okay, the people that follow Islam, when they go to Mecca, they worship a black stone. So we asked him, is that pagan? He said, no, that's not pagan. I said, okay. And what about when you go to Jerusalem and you worship and pray to a wall? Is that pagan? He said, nope, that's not pagan. So, and then one of our members said, that sure sounds like paganism to me. Brothers and sisters, they've done such a great job. President General tells us, we're damaged people, but, we really have to, tip our hat off to the oppressor. I mean, we're fighting each other for what shouldn't be fought over, but they're that good. President General, your thoughts?
I just want to thank the brothers and sisters who came along with us on this trip and the experiences. But I want to call their names, and if I missed anyone, Brother Raymond, and not if I missed, help me call out their names.
Will do.
Too. We have Mr. and Mrs. Spence. Go ahead, brother.
Mr. and Mrs. Spence, bravo. We've got Mr. and Mrs. McKenzie. That's our dear brother Miguel and sister Jennifer. We had the 2 Scarlets, our dear brother Baron and his young son Christopher. I think you also have the name of Marcus.
Right. We had Sister Keisha. We had Sister Poupette. Go ahead, brother.
We had Sister Desmond Lane and Sister Ann Stewart. We had, of course, your President General and his sidekick, the first Assistant President General. We had Sister Antoinette Mosley. Big up, big up, big up. And Sister
and Sister Pinky, Sister Eleanor Bowles.
We is in the house.
We had Brother Nigel. But Brother Nigel roommate, our dear brother Aubrey, said this is the best trip of his life, the best trip he has ever been on. It's amazing the experiences that he had.
The stalwarts we're talking about, Sister Mom Wendy Sita Powell and her
brother Sam, they don't miss any trip.
Never.
And Mama Africa had a grand time in Africa. Brother Sam, as always, is there and just supporting brother. Yes.
And we have to give a shout out to our tour guide, Brother Yao Dave, his assistants. But President General, we just went over the list. Brother Nigel, when he had a chance, one of the things President General does to break the ice, whenever we're traveling long distance, like when we drove to Shashamani, President General wants us we can sing, we can do poetry, anything we want to do to lighten the load, to make it fun, or you can sing, or you can even discuss UNIA. When Brother Nigel went to speak, I mean, President General, I was locked into him. Power and his experiences of being an X-ray technologist, X-ray technician. Your thoughts on that, President General?
That was just wonderful hearing from Brother Nigel and the wealth of knowledge that he has and is able to share with our people. We're definitely going to have to bring Brother Nigel on the show one night to explain this. And the beautiful thing about him going up there and speaking about that motivated Sister Keisha to come up and speak as well and to address these situation and what people can and can't do and how you should handle those things. And Keisha did a wonderful job. Keisha on the trip became like someone who solves people problems. And somebody even referred to her. There was a Jamaican columnist named Janet Sinclair.
General, that was you. That was you.
Oh, that was me, right?
That was you.
Yes.
In fact, I never knew about Janet Sinclair until you said it, till you explained it. But go ahead, sir.
Yes, they actually dubbed her. Well, I guess I actually dubbed her, and people agree, Janet Sinclair, because she seemed to know how to discuss situations and help people solve their problems.
Yes. But so Brother Nigel and I had a chance to speak, and we broke for lunch, and he was hoping we didn't go back to it. Now I really wanted to go back to it because brothers and sisters, it doesn't matter what state you're in life, and especially it doesn't matter what age. But this is geared towards our young people. It's really about the knowledge. The knowledge is the power. See, when our enemies do anything, whether it's church, state, religion, organization, schooling, it's always about power. It can only be about power. That's how they're going to continue dominating the world. When we go to school, it's for status, job, titles, income. It really has to be about the power, and the power is the knowledge. And so, Brother Nigel, we've been speaking. You know what he said to me? This is his personal project. When he goes to Africa now, he's going to insist to go visit the hospitals. He's going to provide information on X-rays and X-ray radiation and how you can avoid that, and you have to monitor that. And he really appreciated that. And PG, I eat that type of stuff for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The whole knowledge, and he really is coming along. So he's excited, and he can't wait until we go back to Africa. But also, President General, a lot of our travelers, and especially Brother Nigel, said, you know what, we spent a week in Ethiopia, and that certainly wasn't enough. We really need to spend more than a week, and we really need to keep going back there. Please respond. Go ahead.
And it seemed like everyone who went on this trip, they want to go back to Ethiopia again because there's so many things that we didn't get a chance to cover. We didn't go to Gondar. We have to go.
Lalibela.
We have to
Yeah,
go there.
Lake
You're
Tana.
right.
I've got to go to
Yeah.
Lake Tana because Lake Tana is where the Blue Nile begins. Without Lake Tana, there is no Egyptian Kemet civilization. All of it is dependent upon Lake Tana. And in fact, the way to look at Ethiopia or the way to look at Egypt's Kemet, Kemet is the oldest daughter of Ethiopia. Ethiopia is where it has to begin. I mean, those highlands, President General, remember sometimes when we were walking, some of us were saying, wow, remember when we went to Unity Park to go visit the
Of course.
Some of
Yeah.
our travelers were saying, why am I so winded? What was so high above ground?
Yeah.
Brothers and sisters, Africa is the only thing that matters. And, before we can rebuild our nation, our empire back in Africa, we have to go visit it. So, President General, I don't want to put you on the stand, but if it's only one thing, if I ask you one thing about Ethiopia that moved you, that you really embrace, what would that be?
Wow.
I know. I'm putting you on the spot, but
I embrace a whole lot of things, but one other thing is I want to embrace and make a difference. It's the suffering for a place that has so much history, for a place that never been conquered, controlled by us. Our people are suffering just like in Jamaica, just like in Haiti, just like in so many more of the islands, just like in Ghana, our people are suffering. And we have to make that difference. Again, we have to see why we say that economics is the order of the day, because a lot of people want to do a lot of things, but their economic situation is not solid. A lot of people would like to own businesses and develop businesses. A lot of people just want to be able to cover the basic expenses of their lives, and they're not able. In Ethiopia, just like we explained in Kenya and other places, it's tough. And the thing is, what are we going to do about it? Again, brothers and sisters, we have to make sure we organize ourselves so strong under one banner, under one climate, any place we are, to be able to promote one God, one aim, one destiny, because our people the world over are relying on us. Right now, I have a few people who have contact with one of our guides, Mesfin. He has been reaching out to me, and we have to do something in Ethiopia as well. We have to do some type of business. So, brothers and sisters, for us to continue to be able to do these things and do business with our brothers and sisters, we must be able to have a strong base, of strong unity, and keep it solid. And brothers and sisters, you have a role to play in that again. That's why when we come on this program here, it's just not to tell you the history and to make you feel good and the things we have done and the things we create, but we're hoping that at the end of the day, we can work together under one banner for our people, because our people the world over, including the land where time began, Ethiopia, the land of our father, they are relying on us.
President General, let me tell you that Mr. Ambassador, Brother Yao, contacted me today, well, texting. They have already 15 members. And then I reminded them there were two more, that young sister, Sister Fazia Mohammed, and the tall young brother, Abel Sampson. So they're
Yes.
working on 17, and we're texting each other. It's amazing. President General, that division is safe and sound. We're also talking about Shashamani. That's another place. So, President General, tell our listeners about your friend Sydney and your friend Donegan. Go right ahead.
Well, first Donegan, and then I'll talk about Sydney and Shashamani, our Rasta brethren. Donegal is a childhood friend of mine. I've known him from I can't even remember when I met him, but I know him from I was a boy. Um, before I was 7 years old. But I know him, and he was in New York, and after living in New York, he decided to pack it in and go to Ethiopia. Of course, he had to get his things together, and he had planned on opening a restaurant. So he made sure he got all his equipment and supplies from the US, and he just put them in a container, went to Africa, found a place to live, then found a place to do business, and just start doing business. The brother realized that the West was not for him anymore, and he wanted to live in Africa. He didn't know how things were going to work out, and I'm sure there were challenges. But brothers and sisters, the West is not for us. It was never for us. So whenever we can make that track, we have to make it. That's why we're saying you just don't have to get up today and go live there. However, you can go there and visit so you can see for yourself that if you so desire, you will have an idea. And what we're doing, the things we're doing, be it in Ethiopia, be it in Kenya, Senegal, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Ghana, Togo, Guinea, Liberia, we're creating the environment that when you get ready to go there to live, you can make a difference. I spoke to a brother in Ghana, and they're growing a lot of things in Ghana. And we're seeing how, since we're getting ready to bring things from Ghana, we're seeing how we can work with them and grow with them in making a difference. But Donegal, it's an experience by himself, and I'm happy he made that track. As far as Shashamani, brother Sydney Salmon. I went to primary school with Sydney. I met Sydney maybe when I was about 9, 10 years old. And again, he lived in New York as well. He worked in New York. He said it was around 9/11 that he decided that he was going to leave out of Babylon and leave all the wicked men and go to the land where our fathers built, Ethiopia, the land of our fathers. And it was an honor to go home and see our brothers and sisters in Shashamani. Again, we look at Shashamani and we do realize that our brothers and sisters need help there, and we have to work there. Is if it's the school, if it's to help to establish a business. But brother Sydney called me a few days ago. He had tried to reach us. He thought we were leaving on Friday. So he was calling us Thursday evening to let us know that he's coming Friday morning. But he didn't realize we were leaving Thursday evening. He called us when we were heading to the airport. But I spoke to him over the weekend. I think I spoke to him on Saturday. And Brother Raymond, Brother Sydney of the 12 tribes of Israel, he said to us that we inspired him. He said, we inspired him. What he's looking for now, he said he doesn't know anything about farming. He doesn't know anything whatsoever, but he's willing to learn. He said the brothers and sisters who went there, they're getting older and the young people don't want to farm. But if we have the black print, he's willing to use it. He's willing to learn. But he said, listening to us, it basically sank in, and he's all in. He wants to create that division there, and he wants us to guide him. So you see the difference we're making all over the world, Brother Duguay?
Absolutely. Absolutely, President General. Okay. Since we've been back, I've been getting texts and emails from the brethren that we met. That we met in Ethiopia, especially the brother that has the supplements and the medication. He
Yes.
contacted me, and so President General, the castor oil that I bought, the sweetener. I mean, President General, this is for real. I mean, we can do this. I mean, your thoughts? Can we do this, sir? Please answer.
We are doing it. We are doing it. We are doing it, my dear brother, and we just have to continue doing it. We have to do business with these places. So, brothers and sisters, for that to happen, we have to build a rock. We have to make the rock 10 times as strong, because we're going to have to stretch out our arm to Ethiopia. Yes, brother.
A couple of things I forgot to mention when I gave that shout out to our dear sister, Sister Brenda Walton. After we spoke, she said, "Well, I have to pray for you." So she ended up praying. I mean, President General, it was like divine intervention. I can't tell you how good I felt. And it's just unfortunate I'm going to Africa soon, because I'd like to go see those papers, because this is history, President General. I mean, we really need to fix this rock up, make it bigger than big yesterday. So before we go, President General, what did you think of that young sister that we befriended, adopted? We took her on the bus ride with her, with us, the young sister Fozia Mohammed. Go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Ah, man, a breath of fresh air. And one thing I like about the people there, they seem honest and decent. I know things are tough there, just like every place else, but they're not begging. What blew me away was when we were leaving, and I know we collected funds and we split it up. And one of the young ladies, she was given certain amount of funds from the pool. Then I think other people, maybe Sister Jennifer and Brother Miguel and you, gave her some personally. And then I went to her personally to give her. And she's telling me that she got enough already.
Mm.
Yeah, and it was just amazing. But just to see the blessings and the love that we bring to these places, just to see brothers and sisters, even in Kenya, when we go to have breakfast, and when we give some of these people $5 and $10 tip, it's just amazing. But the guides in Kenya and the guides in Ethiopia, when we gave them the tips, they were just blown away, and they're so appreciative. So it's amazing to see what our people are thankful for. But brothers and sisters, we just have to continue doing these things, and so we can make a difference. And the good thing we were able to do in Shashamani, we were able to make financial donations to the schools. And
Big
it's just a
financial.
wonderful thing.
No. I have to tell the whole world. No. President General came out big. I mean, at the African Union, he pulls out big money, and Shashamani pulls out even bigger money. So I said, but President General, where would we be, the UNIA, without economics?
We would be everywhere else where things are not progressive and we're not able to make a difference. When we go to Africa, we can't go to Africa stretching out our hands. If our hands are stretching out, it must be to invest or to assist. But the brothers and sisters, you have to realize that they believe in us. They're looking forward. The brother in Uganda, looking forward. The brothers in Kenya, they want to work with us to build Pan-Africanism. The brothers and sisters in the general part of Ethiopia, we are their dreams. Brother Sidney, our Rasta brethren, 12 tribes in Shashamani, he's thankful for what we did. Not only the financial contribution, even more than the financial but the contribution, the motivation we provided. And when he look and he see the love and unity among this group of African that came there under the banner of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, an African Community League established by Marcus Garvey, we went to Africa and we represented the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey very well, since Mr. Garvey was not able to touch the soil of Africa. We are doing it with him. We are charged with the responsibilities of taking Africa from the diaspora to Africa.
President General,
Yes.
I could stay another 3 hours with you, but it's approaching, it's after 1, it's approaching 2 o'clock or whatever time it is. So I'm going to have to hold it there. But President General, it's a pleasure to see you. I can't wait for more reports. How's my passport? How's that coming along, sir?
It's waiting for you, brother.
I'm sorry, you broke up.
I said it's waiting for you, brother.
Okay, if you want, I can get on a plane tomorrow and pick up my passport. I mean, it's nothing to pick up your citizenship into Africa. Okay.
So when are you going? It's gonna go to South Africa then.
Repeat.
So when are you going to go to South Africa then?
Well, I gotta go. President General, for those who don't know, I'm going to Africa where I belong. On Friday, I've got my personal security riding with me, so I have no fear. Well, whenever I'm going home, I have no fear. But anyway, President General, it's time to close. Your last statement.
Africa for the Africans, those at home and those abroad.
Oh,
let no religious scruples separate us, brothers and sisters. The right is the black man, and in Africa, let's build Africa.
Oh, President General, let me tell you, we can make a whole living. I mean, I can live on this all forever. Okay, Africans, please raise your beautiful black fist and please recite after me. The President General already said, but let me recite it also. Africa.
Mr. Brother Raymond, hold on before you say that. I want to say one thing. Brothers and sisters, sometimes you hear us say that Marcus Garvey is the greatest man that ever walked on earth. And it's not that I believe it, it's that I know it. Because he is the only man that has ever organized 12 million people under one banner in different borders, not within a specific border, a country or a continent, but all over the globe, and at the same time organized 12 million people, a lot of them who are speaking different tongues, different languages. He's the only man who has ever done that. Show me another man who has done that, and then I'll change my thought on Mr. Garvey. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry for interrupting.
You're not going to find another person. That's why he's the greatest among men and gods. So please recite after me, my dear, beautiful black people. Raise your black fist. Africa.
Africa.
For the Africans.
For the Africans.
Those at home.
Those at home.
And those abroad.
And those abroad.
One God.
One God.
One aim.
One aim.
That leads to one destiny.
One destiny.
Long live Africa.
Long live.
Long live the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Long live your President General, the Honorable Michael R. Duncan. Next time I in Africa with the President General, different parts of Africa where I belong. Have a good night, sir.
Have a good night.
The Community Focus Show is brought to you by Jamaica Breeze.
Yo,